So you've been trying to learn present perfect. Well, if you aren't a native English speaker and this tense doesn't exist in your language, it can be tricky. But don't worry, help is here and I'll break it down for you into a few steps. Let's start with the format. How do we use present perfect? Present perfect is composed of a subject such as I, you, we, has or have, and a verb in the past participle. Let's quickly review what a verb in the past participle looks like. It's the verb in the infinitive plus ed. So for example, ask plus ed, asked. Walk plus ed, walked. Talk plus ed, talked. Check out the list of past participles in the handout. But beware, just like any language, there are exceptions. So take a look at the list of irregular verbs in the handout. So back to what a sentence would look like in the present perfect. Subject, has or have, and a verb in the past participle. I have walked. I have danced. I have talked. He has walked. She has danced. He has talked. I have been a teacher for 20 years. He has been a teacher for 20 years. How do we know when to use have and when to use have? We use has for he, she, or it, guf shlishi yachid, and we use have for I, guf rishon yachid, you, guf sheni yachid, we, guf rishon rabim, and they, guf sheni rabim. Here we can see the same sentence in present perfect using has or have according to the subject of the sentence. I have been to Paris. She has been to Paris. Note that when there is a person's first name, such as David, it is like using he, and we would use the word has. David has been to Paris. If there are two names, David and Sarah, it would be the same as they. And so we would say, David and Sarah have been to Paris. And a noun such as the dog is like the subject it, and so we would say, the dog has been to the vet. Native speakers like using contractions in the present perfect. That's when you shorten the sentence by combining the subject and the verb has or have. It's faster, flows, and saves time. So instead of saying, I have been to Paris, you would combine the word I and the word have and say, I've been to Paris. Similarly, if we were to contract the plural, we have been to Paris, we would say, we've been to Paris. And if we were to be talking about someone else in the third person singular, the contracted form of she has moved to Paris would be she's moved to Paris. Last point worth noting about the format of present perfect is that it can also be used in the negative. I have not been to Paris. Contracted, this would be I haven't been to Paris, or I've not been to Paris. Now that we reviewed the format, how we use present perfect, let's take a look at when we use present perfect, or why we use present perfect. There are 7 different instances to use present perfect. The first one is things that happened or started in the past and continue today. I have been a teacher for 10 years. Were I to use the past simple, I was a teacher for 10 years, it would imply that I'm no longer a teacher, but I love teaching. The present perfect states that I have been a teacher for 10 years and that I am still a teacher. The second instance to use present perfect is when we don't care to emphasize when exactly something happened. For example, she has been to Israel 5 times. We don't care exactly when she visited Israel. We are emphasizing that she has been to Israel several times. Had we said this in past simple, she visited Israel 5 times, it would suggest that she is not planning another visit to our beautiful country. present perfect leaves it open, suggesting that she is still likely to visit Israel again. We also use present perfect to talk about achievements. For example, Meryl Streep has won 3 Oscars. This leaves it open because it is possible that this fantastic actress will win another award. However, if we were talking about an actress that is no longer alive, we would use the past simple. Katharine Hepburn won 4 Oscars, which, by the way, is the most Oscars a single actor has won so far. A fourth instance to use the present perfect is when we discuss things we expect to happen that have not happened yet. Scientists haven't discovered a cure for cancer, but they are getting closer every day. Notice this sentence is a negative statement and is also contracted. Haven't, the contraction for have not. Another instance to use the present perfect is when something has changed over time, connecting the present to the past. Your English has improved since you started this course. If I were to say this in the past simple, your English improved when you started the course, it would imply that the process ended and that there is no further improvement. But you are still learning and still improving, and so the present perfect gets that idea across. We also use present perfect to talk about life experiences, things we have done or haven't done. I have visited 11 different countries in the world. I have never climbed Mount Everest. Who knows, maybe one day. Finally, we use the present perfect to talk about something that just happened. As you have seen in this lesson, there are many different ways to use the present perfect. You've been a great audience and I've had fun teaching you. Haha, can you find the present perfect in those sentences? And can you figure out why use the present perfect? Until next time, practice, practice, practice until you've got the present perfect down perfectly.